A player that's going to get a big-time contract this upcoming offseason, at least he hopes to, is Jalen Brunson. And there's been a report that came out that Brunson could receive a similar contract to Fred VanVleet's 4-year, $84 million deal, which is $21 million a season. What do you feel about that? Where do you think?
I actually want to turn this over to you because I've seen you very active on Twitter, at Joel V. Moran, give him a follow. I've seen you very active defending Jalen Brunson over Fred VanVleet. So I do want to pass this over to you. I am interested to hear your opinion.
Well, for one, Jalen Brunson deserves this money.
Oh,
I'll give him more. I'll maybe give him 25.
Really?
He's that good. He's that good.
You're giving him 4 for 100?
Yeah, that's
not out of the realm of possibility. I'll do it.
If you're the Mavericks,
I would do it if I'm Mavericks.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because Jalen Brunson, I've been high on Brunson for a while.
You have.
I've called his breakout.
You have.
And now he finally is broken out. 16 points per game, 4 rebounds, 5 assists in 32 minutes, shooting 50% from the field, 37% from 3. And part of the thing about Brunson, it's weird, right? Because he plays with Luka, and we often assume just because you play with this guy, Luka, oh, this is why your stats look so great because you're with Luka. But I actually think it's the opposite. I think Jalen Brunson's game is limited due to Luka having the ball so much. And obviously, if you're a team, if you're a coach, you want Luka to have the ball more than Brunson. But Brunson's at his best when he's operating with the ball in his hands. He can't do that when Luka's on the court. And when Jalen Brunson started, when Luka didn't play, it was 17 games. He averaged 20 points and 7.4 assists per game. And then we saw in the playoffs, the first couple of games without Luka, he was averaging 32, 5, and 5 versus the Jazz. He had a 40-point game. He was about to win a series for Dallas against a team in Utah who we knew had their struggles, but we didn't anticipate Brunson doing what he did to them that badly.
No way.
At that high of a level.
I agree.
Jalen Brunson, when I mentioned him and Fred VanVleet, because I put up a poll on Twitter, I said, who would you rather have, Brunson or Fred VanVleet? It was a landslide. It was 85% Fred, 15% Brunson. It depends a lot about the team, about which team you are. If I'm a team that I take defense into high regard,
I was going to say the same thing.
I'll slide with Fred.
For sure.
But with a team like the Knicks, who I'm a fan of, who the one thing we're dying for is a point guard who can score, who can drive and get to the basket at will, I want Jalen Brunson.
So real quick, if you're the Mavericks, you want Fred VanVleet.
I want Jalen Brunson.
But you just told me defensive-minded.
This is the difference. I feel like this is the thing about Fred. Fred is an outstanding player. I'm not taking anything away from him. He made an all-star rightfully.
We're not shitting on either or.
So.
They're both really good ball players.
But Fred VanVleet, playing with Luka, is not averaging what he just averaged. Fred VanVleet, in the past 3 seasons since becoming a starter, has averaged 18.6 points per game, 4 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 40% from the field and 38% from 3. Half of his shots come from 3.
He's a sniper.
And he's played 36 minutes per game in these past 3 seasons. In the past 3 seasons, he's competed with Kyle Lowry as the primary ball handler. In Tampa, it was nobody. And now this year, really competed with nobody. He has the backcourt to himself. Him now teaming up with a player like Luka, he'd average 16, 17 a game. And he doesn't offer you the half-court offense Jalen Brunson offers you. He can't drive to the basket like Brunson. He can't finish like Brunson. He can't get to his spots in the mid-range like Brunson. If Fred VanVleet's three-point shots aren't falling, he's having an off game offensively because he's not doing much outside of that.
But don't you think that Luka would allow him more floor spacing for him to maximize what his strength is in shooting?
You can say that, but also I can say that this season, Brunson and Fred VanVleet both shot 37% from 3.
For sure.
So there's no difference between the 3-point percentage, and Fred shoots 40% from the field and Brunson shoots 50% from the field.
Fred VanVleet, better playmaker. Would you agree?
I think he's a slightly better one.
Better defender.
I think Fred VanVleet, due to his role in the Raptors offense, has the assist numbers over Brunson, but Brunson in a similar role is averaging the same number of assists.
So one thing you said that right now leans Jalen Brunson, which I agree with, his ability to get to the basket, fine, and his ability to finish at the basket. But playmaking, we lean Fred.
Slightly.
Shooting, we lean Fred.
It's the same.
Fred VanVleet's volume is so much,
shooting.
But his volume's more than Jalen Brunson.
You want to say three-point shooting, I'll give it to Fred. Even slightly, though. I think Fred's a slightly better three-point shooter.
But again, like you alluded to,
he's not a better mid-range shooter. He's not a better finisher.
The finishing, fine.
He's not a better shooter from anywhere on the floor outside of three. Brunson hasn't beat in all those areas. And he's a better shot creator than him, too. I feel, especially in the playoffs where you need a guy to get you a bucket, Fred VanVleet can get into slumps because of that. And I think Brunson is much more reliable in a half-court setting, in a playoff setting.
What you said with Luka being out and Jalen Brunson elevating his play, this is what helps your case, and it allows me to even lean a little bit towards Brunson because of how great he was alone and his ability to elevate his play against Utah. However, I do look at Utah, and we just had a whole discussion about Utah's lack of perimeter defense, which allow Jalen Brunson to show otherworldly talents against them. I just struggle with the consistency part of it. Yes, Jalen Brunson was damn good this playoffs, but can he do it again? That's my worry. I've seen Fred where he did struggle against the Sixers, no doubt about it. He did end up getting hurt, yes, but he's shown a level of consistency and an increase in his play year to year.
Well, Fred has shown,
and defensively, we don't have to speak about that.
There's really only been 1 to 2 playoffs. There's been 2 playoffs where Fred has been in his current role. This past playoffs where he didn't play well, and last playoffs in 2020 after Kawhi left, where
they were really good.
In that playoffs, 11 games, he averaged 19.6 points per game, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 40% from the field, 39% from three.
He was really good.
Yep, he was really good. But before that, he was a role player. And
he was a strong part of that. He
thrived in his role.
No doubt.
Brunson's playoffs this year, 21.6 points per game, 4.6 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 46% from the field, and 35% from three. Brunson had a better playoffs in this playoffs than Fred had in 2020.
The stats against Utah skew that a little bit.
You can say that, but he averaged 18 against he averaged 18 against both the Phoenix Suns and the Warriors on really good splits.
I'm
outside of Phoenix, he shot 25% from three. Versus Golden State, he shot 40% from three in that series.
It's just that the 21 comes from him dominating Utah. And Utah, like, again, I don't want to beat a dead horse. Their perimeter defense is garbage.
No, I agree with what you're saying, but I think Brunson is just as good as Fred VanVleet.
But then defensively, that's where I have the separation.
Defensively, you can say that, but I don't think, for one, I don't think Fred is an elite level defender. I think
for his size?
No, he's a great defender.
He is.
He's not an elite level defender because his size does limit him. Same, it's going to happen with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Brunson is not a cone. He's an average defender. He's not a liability on defense. Because of that, I think depending on a team, I lean Brunson.
Which is why I say the Mavericks.
But I value shot creation a lot. And Brunson is a much better shot creator than Fred.
But it's not like Fred can't create his shot.
Not like Brunson, though.
To a degree, yes, I understand your point. But even
not like
still,
Brunson.
What do you think, Will?
Jalen Brunson deserves the VanVleet money. I don't think he will, nor do I think he should get more than that. I feel like to get more than that, to get to 25 a year, you have to be a second option, realistically. And I don't know if he is that yet in this point of his career. I don't know who you would pair him with. If you're a team like the Knicks, where you need a point guard very badly, you don't necessarily even have that best player. I mean, RJ Barrett's on his way. Julius Randle will be there, assuming that this season doesn't change very much. But, you know, to me, I think he's worth the VanVleet money if you're a team like the Knicks who needs a point guard that badly for any other team in the NBA. But no way should he get more than that. I just think you end up overpaying for a player you don't need to overpay for. If the Mavs want to do it, if Mark Cuban is like that and he wants to shell out the 25, that's going to be on him. I wouldn't do that personally. I think he's just going to be overpaying there to keep his player. But I think he's worth the VanVleet money for sure. It's a good comparison, and I think he's worth it.
I think he is worth it. I hope the Knicks do sign him. I think the Knicks are in a great position. I really do.
I agree.
I think
I agree.
Next year, we're going to have Jalen Brunson, Johnny Davis, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle. Mitch maybe comes back. Maybe he doesn't. Even if we trade Randle, we got Obi Toppin right there waiting.
He's next.
We have a great bench. I mean, third seed is in the cards next year.
Stop it. Stop it.
Especially with Brunson.
I'm a Knicks fan. I won't go top 3 seed. I don't think.
With Brunson, it's a possibility.
Fournier's still in the contract, or he's out of there?
No, he's under contract. I was thinking this. If the Knicks can't just sign Brunson outright, so it'd have to be a sign and trade. I would make. What if, hey, Dallas, you want Emmanuel Quickly and Evan Fournier for Brunson, and I throw in like a pick or something?
What if they ask for Julius Randle for Jalen Brunson?
I don't care.
I think you have to do it. It's going to make your team worse in the immediate because you don't have both of them. But
less is more.
Brunson,
because Obi could come in and start, and then you have Jalen Brunson.
Exactly. Brunson is worth more to a team than Randle at this point, I think.
It's so unfortunate. We're talking about an All-NBA player, right, Joel?
Used to be. I mean, I remember I was on a podcast with Will for Seton Hall.
I remember this.
We had this discussion about if Julius Randle should get paid. I said no. I was not going to pay Julius.
Were you paying
Randle.
him?
I was paying him, yes.
You have to.
You have to.
You have to because he did something that hasn't been done since Melo, right? And Knicks fans just gravitate towards someone that brings them to the playoffs easily because the Knicks are begging for something.
Right, and he wasn't this year. He's like Curry in the finals where there's such a spotlight on him for the Knicks that he was overhated and
he was bad.
He was bad compared to last year.
The Curry comparison's strong. It's strong because he was bad. He was bad. He had good moments.
The thing I will say is off the court, he was horrible this year.
He was.
Compared to last year.
I know what you mean.
That's the worst part about it is
Very
he
well
kind
said.
of like turned on the franchise at the end of the season where last year he was all about New York. I want to finish my career with the Knicks. And at the end of this year, he was not the locker room guy that you knew him as.
He was booing fans. Like, come on. That was egregious.
That's a bad look.